frequency for intruder alarm system and automation, everywhere where the quality and stable communication are the most important conditions. In the ABAX 2, the most important device is a controller. A controller is communicate with all of the peripherals and supervise them. So we decide to release two types of the controllers, ACU-280 and ACU-220. Right now, I want to tell you something more about both of them. So the first model of the controller is an ACU-220, which is working in few operation modes. At the PCB, you will find a special terminal block for the keypads and expander bus. Thanks to that, module is fully cooperate and fully compatible with the Versa panel, Integra, and Integra Plus control panels. But together with the buses, we have installed on board also additional inputs and outputs, which is necessary to use the module with third-party system and also as a standalone device. A few weeks ago to the controller, we added RS485 Modbus RTU protocol. So now also it's available to connect the module with the other system, which is using Modbus, to create your own visualization, but also to check the module status and control of the ABAX devices. The second controller, ACU-280, is more slim module than ACU-220, but functionally can full cooperate with Integra, Versa, and Integra Plus panels. But also, on this module, we have only keypad bus and RS485 bus, so you can connect this device to Versa, Integra, Integra Plus, and also you can connect to via RS485 to another devices which are working with Modbus protocol. Small size of the module of the ACU-280 gives a big benefit during the installation, because you can use the special bracket which perfectly fits to OPU4 enclosure. Little break. I have the information from Erwin that he cannot see the presentation. Someone else has the problem with the presentation, or it's just a problem on Erwin's side? Please write on the chat. Can you see the presentation? Okay, so Erwin, maybe you will try to refresh the web browser. All of the people write that they can see the presentation. So let's go forward the presentation. So as I told you, ACU-280, thanks to small size of this module, you can install it in a special bracket which perfectly fits to OPU4 enclosure. So you don't have to install it in another enclosure in another place. You can use your enclosure of the mainboard to install the controller there. The range of the controller, or the range of the wireless system in open area can reach 2000 meters or even more. During our test, we decided to finish the range test at 2000 meters, but we received the positive feedback from people which made similar tests on their own, and we know that it can work even more. To show you the scale, we put on the slide the highest building at the world, the Burj Khalifa, which has 828 meters. Of course, it doesn't mean that you can cover whole building using the ABAX controller. As I said to you before, this is the range in open area. For wireless solution, not only the range is important, but also important is how stable system is. Reliable systems should be immune for the interferences to avoid the problems with the communication caused by another frequencies or jamming signals. So ABAX2 is working on 4 channels at 868 MHz frequency with bidirectional communication between the devices. So the channels are jumping from one to another every time when the communication problem occurs to make the communication stable all the time. In practice, during the test, we can say that it's very hard to break the communication between ACU and connected devices to the system. Okay, right now I will show you all of the devices in ABAX2 offer. I will tell just briefly to show you the image of the device and the name, and of course some what this device is. But please be patient, because after a few slides I will get you all of the details regarding to every detector. So ABAX2 devices in our offer are 3 types of the motion detector, 2 PIR detector and 1 dual technology, glass break detector, and completely new and very powerful universal detector. In offer, we have 2 types of outdoor dual technology motion detectors. We have 2 types of detectors to protect your property against the fire. 2 types of wireless siren, outdoor and indoor siren. Additional devices which make your house smarter and also to make your system easier to control. Also in our offer we will find 2 types of the expanders that gives you the possibility to mix wireless and wired solution together. And to show you that we believe in the line of the product and we didn't finish the line of the product, I will introduce you coming soon products which we are working for. So it will be signal repeater to make the range longer, signal level tester to be sure before the installation that radio communication between devices will work perfectly, and few more products to complete our offer. So the controller of a device is connected to the socket, outdoor dusk and temperature sensor, and panic button. Okay, so from this moment I will show you again the same devices, but with much more details regarding the devices. So now you know that we have 2 types of the indoor PIR detector. So it's a APD-200 and APD-200 with Pet immunity. Detector with Pet immunity is a standard PIR detector which is immune for pets up to 20 kilograms. APD-200 without Pet immunity has additional feature like creep zone control, bigger range of the protected area, replace lens, so you can change the lens for long range or curtain. And the details regarding installation, also there is some difference because APD-200 Pet has to be installed at 2.4 meter, but the APD-200 can be installed between 2 meter up to 2.4 meter. The third type of the indoor detector is a dual technology APD-250. We provide to detector unique feature to make the battery life longer. So detector is using microwave only when system is armed and after PIR violation. So microwave is used only to confirm that someone is in protected area. Installation height of this detector is between 2 meter up to 2.4 meter. Also at APD-250, the same like APD-200, creep zone is protected and lens are replaceable, so you can make curtain or long-range detector. In our offer, there is a dual technology motion detector, outdoor motion detector, with additional dust sensor on board. So, detector which works quite nice at outdoor, PIR and microwave. Microwave is working in the same way like APD-250. So it's working to confirm the violation of the PIR. Also, few words about the dust sensor. When you're adding the detector into your system, you have to decide that you want to use dust sensor or not. If you will decide to that, you have additional zone where you can receive the information that dust came. So you can use it for some home automation option. So for example, you can control the lights in garden, or for example, the roller shutter in your house. The AOCD-260 is an outdoor dual technology curtain detector. You have to know that only infrared is working as a curtain, but to trigger an alarm, both of the sensor has to detect an intruder. So again, if someone will try to pass through the virtual wall to the pass to the curtain, then microwave will turn on to confirm the violation of the detector, to send information to the controller and next to the panel. AOCD-260 has a temperature sensor on board, which you can use for controlling the thermostat output in Integra Plus panel. And few more words about the temperature sensor. Not only outdoor curtain detector has it on board. Also, all of the previous motion detector, which I show you before, has that temperature sensor. So indoor and outdoor detectors can send the temperature to your system, which you can see in mobile application, for example, or you can trigger some thermostat output in Integra Plus panel to control the heaters, for example, or air conditioning. Okay, the AXD-200 is a new, pretty good and useful detector in our offer. It's a universal detector which can work with one of 7 modes, which installer has to choose before adding it to the system. So the AXD-200 can work as a magnetic, 2-channel magnetic detector, magnetic with additional roller shutter input, shock and magnetic, reorientation, temperature, and flood detector. When you want to use that additional input, for example, with mode flooding detector, 2-channel magnetic, or magnetic with the roller shutter, there is a special input where you can connect the probe or some wired magnetic contact. Important is that in every operation mode which you can choose, detector also will send the temperature to Integra panel. So that temperature also you can see in mobile application or at the keypad or control thermostat output. But if you will choose the mode temperature detector, you have additional feature. Detector will be added at 1 or 2 zones, and if the temperature will exceed the thresholds, then you can get an alarm in the system, get the violation and an alarm, for example, or make some additional home automation options. Before installer will add the detector to the controller, he has to set the operation mode. So how to do that? Detector has on service mode. So after the installer will insert the battery into the detector, in 10 seconds, he has to knock at the detector 3 times. After that, detector is in service mode, and every knock every single knock at the enclosure of the detector will change the operation mode for the next one. If you will, and of course you will get the confirmation at the LED that there is mode 1st, 5th, 7th, which one you choose. When you will choose the proper mode, you have to just wait for 10 seconds to save the data. Also, we decide to make the glass break detector APD-200, which has the additional microphone, and it's helped to protect your glass against the break. And it can be ordinary glass, tempered glass, and also laminated glass. So this detector will secure all types of glass which you can install at your house. To protect your property against the fire, we have ASD-250. ASD-250 is a smoke detector which is compliant with EN 14604 norm, which can work in two modes. First of them is a standalone. So after smoke detection, LED and buzzer, which are installed on the detector, start signaling an alarm. Second mode is operation as a part of the ABAX2 system. So after smoke is detected, LED and buzzer is triggered, and fire alarm is broadcasted to another ASD-250 in a system to start signalize an alarm. But all of the detector will signalize using the buzzer. Only detector which is violated by smoke has the signalization by LED. So even if you go around the building, you can find where is the fire. ASD-200 is a smoke and heat detector combined, working as a part of the ABAX2 system. So this one can work only as a part of the ABAX2, and it's a smoke and heat detector. Doesn't matter which sensor will detect the fire, smoke or heat. You have an information that fire is occur in the system because it's sent to the controller. We decide to make additional protection. For example, the wireless panic button. So this is completely. This will be the completely new product in the ABAX2 offer. A lot of the installer and distributor ask us for such as product. So this is the wireless panic button, built in special form and materials to avoid all of the false alarm triggered by mistake. The next coming soon product, but very useful for the houses where you want to make some additional things like some home automation. We decide to produce the wireless outdoor dust and temperature detector. So it will give you the information about dust and temperature. You can control again some roller shutters, some additional lights, air condition maybe, things like that. Front of this detector is made from translucent glass. So at the slide you can see the finished enclosure with the glass at the front. Detectors which we have in our offer and which has to be installed with the alarm system is an outdoor and indoor acoustic and optical siren. Both of them has 3 sounds available, so during the installation you can choose the sound which you want to use in the system. ASP-200, which is outdoor siren, operation temperature is between from -40 up to 55 Celsius degrees. And also we decide to install very powerful 3.6 volts battery with 14 amps hour capacity. ASP-215, which is indoor detector, has the standard battery, the same like in keypads or in detectors. ASP215, the indoor siren, has also temperature on board, so you can receive the temperature from that, and also it's available in 3 colors: red, orange, and blue. The very popular and new useful device for controlling 230 volts AC is ASW210. Device with dimension which fits to back box behind a light switch. You have 2 inputs on board where you can connect wall switches, and 2 relays outputs with rated load to 5 amps for 250 volts AC. This module works in 3 operation modes. One of them is fully controlled by mainboard, so the state of the input is no consequence for the relay. Another are for the controlling the relays immediately after the input state switch. Input state will switch. So you press the button, immediately you will switch the input. Also the relay is turning on or off, and then status of the relay is transmitted to the mainboard. You have to choose the proper mode, depends on the type of the wall switches you have. So that mode which turn on and off relay immediately and just a transmit type, the status of the relay, is available for the mono switches and B switches. At ASW210 we decide to install the temperature sensor on board, but you cannot use it in the system. It's just to protect the module against overheat. Additional coming soon product useful for home automation is a socket controller with the LED indicator and additional button on enclosure. So you can control device locally, and also you can control device remotely. LED indicator, thanks to LED indicator, you will see that devices is working or not. APD-200 is a bidirectional key fob to control your system remotely with confirmation of the system state on 3 LEDs. So during the installation, you can decide that at LED you want to receive the message that some troubles in the system or system is armed or not. For example, maybe that some garage gate is going to be open or not. Depends of the programmation of the controller or Integra panel. In our offer, we will also, you can see that we have the wireless expander for wired detectors and sirens, and even more depends on your needs. So at ACX220, there are the 4 programmable inputs on board and 4 relays with resistive load up to 1 amp at 24 volts DC. This device is powered from it's powered by 12 volts DC from any source, so any power supply you can connect there. But the most possibilities, and this device is most powerful with additional power supply, which is named APS-412, because you can receive the information of the power supply and also of the information of the battery of device which is connected to the expander. The another expander in the system is the miniature expander with big range of the possibilities to use. So thanks to very small dimensions and 4 inputs and 4 open collector outputs on board, you can install it in the enclosure of the wired detector, for example, and then you can transmit the violation of the ABAX to you can transmit the violation of the wired detector to ABAX to controller. So, for example, a lot of installers are using this expansion module at the outdoor wired beams to just send the violation using ABAX to the system. Module is powered by local power supply from 12 volts DC up to 24 volts DC. Now you can see the example of the application expanders in the system. So as you can see, the expander like ACX220 is communicate with the controller wireless. To the ACX you can connect some additional switches. Also you can connect some additional, I don't know, maybe detectors, maybe some intruder alarm system. Also, you can connect to the output some fans, garage gate, the siren. And then if you will make some reaction in the system using detector or wall switches, you can control that devices. Next coming soon product, which we want to release as soon as possible, it's a repeater of the ABAX 2. It's a ARU200. Device is powered by 230 volts AC, and it should be in the range of the controller of ACU220 or ACU280. This device will expand a range for the next 2 kilometers. Here you can see the example of use of this device. So as I told you, repeater has to be in the range of the controller, so you cannot connect repeaters, a lot of the repeaters in the cascade. So the maximum range from the in open area, of course, from the controller to the last device is up to 4 kilometers. Okay, and very useful device is a radio signal level tester. It's very helpful because before you will spend time for installing all of the devices, you can just go around the building and measure the signal level of ACU and also of all of the detectors. So at the tester, you can see the signal level of the controller and also of the device which will be installed in that place. So before the installation, you can be sure that system will work fine at that building. If you will receive the negative feedback that there is no signal level or a lot of jamming signal, then you know that you should think about wiring. Okay, this slide I want to show you the system diagram, how you can build the alarm system with the radio devices. And thanks to the additional expander with wired detectors and sirens. At left top corner, you can see a wireless keypad. So depends which system you have, Integra or Versa, you have different keypads. So you have to remember about that. Keypads are using the same radio system, but another is for Versa and another is for Integra. So as you can see, to the main board, you have to connect the controller. After that, all of the wireless devices are connected to the controller by radio, and you can connect some wireless expansion module and make some wired installation. So you can combine wired and wireless solution together. ABAX2Soft is a dedicated software for the installer to configure the system, manage the connected devices, and check the situation of the radio communication. So inside of the ABAX2Soft, there is a tool for advanced signal interference analysis. So if you don't have the signal level tester, just a detector, you can add the detector to the controller, leave it in some corner of the building, and then you can still see the signal level, but also the interferences at every from 4 channels which we are using for the communication. Okay, so at next part of the presentation, we will talk more about the details of the communication and radio solution which we are using in ABAX 2. So already you know the devices. Now I want to tell you more about the how it's communicated, how it's worked, and why we are so sure that it works very good. System is working at 868 MHz frequency, and it's hopping between 4 channels every time when other channel has less level of the interferences. To explain it more precisely, I will turn on a short movie to introduce you the communication, radio communication.
Let's take a closer look at the details of radio communication. Encrypted two-way data transmission between devices of the ABAX 2 system takes place in the 868 MHz frequency band. Currently, this bandwidth is used by lots of different wireless devices. Also, similar frequencies are used for data transmission by cellular telephony systems and terrestrial TV transmitters. These signals can interfere with each other, thus extending the time and reducing the reliability of transmitted information. In addition, in many cases, data is transferred between devices on a single channel. It's like moving along a narrow road. Such a journey can be easily delayed, disturbed, or even interrupted. In the ABAX 2 system, a solution that ensures high immunity to interference has been used. Spectral signal scattering technology has been applied. This means that 4 separate channels are provided in the 868 MHz frequency band. The radio system of ABAX 2 devices constantly monitors the level of interference in each of them. All this is done to select the channel that is currently the best for transmission when sending data. The 4 channels are like a 4-lane highway. If you want a fast and undisturbed journey, you should choose the lane with the smoothest traffic flow. This is how the ABAX 2 system effectively uses the 868 MHz frequency band, while achieving unprecedented high immunity to interference at the same time. In addition, devices can transmit more data per unit of time. As a result, communication between them is secure and extremely effective. ABAX 2, wireless security and comfort.
Okay, thanks to the completely new radio system, the new components, antennas, and the firmware, range of the devices are 4 times better than previous ABAX. But also important information is that antennas in every devices was customized to every device individually. So we are able to use 100% of the possibilities of the radio components which we are using in this solution. You know that in open area the maximum in open area the signal level, the maximum range is up to 2 kilometers. But also I want to show you a little comparison that not only the maximum range in the straight line, but also an example of possible coverage area. But not only range we improved, so not only the range is bigger, but thanks to the communication changes which we put to ABAX 2, more information are transmitted between peripherals and controllers in the same time. So not only violation and tamper is transmitted, but also we can send the temperature. That's why you have information about the temperature from the detectors and indoor siren. But also you can receive the exact value of the battery level. So not only information that battery is low, you can in ABAX 2 you can see the value of the battery. And also thanks to communication changes, you can transmit to every device new firmware version. To update the wireless devices, procedure is as easy as updating of the controller. So you have to just update the controller using your computer, and after that, the firmware of all of the devices is transmitted from the controller to every detector, key fob, siren, every devices which has to be updated. You have to know that updates is the devices are updating meantime it works without the interrupting of the device operation. So device still can be violated, can send some information to the system, but meantime it's updating. To make ABAX2 more reliable and protected, we have implemented AIS 128 bits encryption code for the communication. In previous ABAX we used another solution. Now we decide to use AIS 128 bit encryption. I want to explain you more how the AIS is working, and in this place I will play again the movie where you can get more details regarding to encryption.
Security of communication is one of the key requirements of the digital age. Banking and online shopping, Wi-Fi, mobile applications, an effective alarm system, and even state security require a proper way to secure the data. One of the most effective and oldest ways is encryption. It is a process of transforming explicit, unprotected information into a cryptogram, a form that cannot be read without the right key. The key determines how the information is encrypted and decrypted. In computer encryption, it is a sequence of bits whose length determines the efficiency of cryptography and resistance of the cipher who attempts to read it. For example, if you have a computer that checks 100 million keys per second, it will take 23 years to read the 56-bit string. Adding 1 bit to it will extend this time almost twice, up to 46 years. With much larger keys, it can even be as long as billions of years. AES, or Advanced Encryption Algorithm, is one of the most secure encryption standards. Breaking this algorithm requires computational powers that go far beyond the capabilities of modern computers. Every day, AES ensures security of millions of transactions on the Internet, billions of wireless transmissions, as well as countless files stored on disks. As the symmetric cipher, it uses the same secret code of 128, 192, or 256 bits for encryption and decryption. AES is a safe and reliable way to protect data. In SATEL products, it effectively protects wireless communication, not only within the ABAX2 system, but also in the mobile applications of the control series. It is also part of the software for configuration, management, and updating of SATEL systems.
Okay. Now I'm going to tell you more about the communication between devices and what is in the consequence of that, longer battery lifetime. ABAX2 devices are communicate with the controller in standard mode or eco mode. In standard passive mode, communication periods are in 12, 24, or 36 seconds. Depends how you will set it during the programmation. In every transmission, detectors send the information regarding violation and presence. When you will arm your system, the ACU controller will send that information to every detector to change working mode from passive to active mode. Active mode means that the violation is going to the controller immediately, but presence test still working in communication periods. Eco mode is working also in passive and active mode, but communication periods is in every 3 minutes. So in active mode, immediate violation is going immediately. In passive mode, it's going in every 3 minutes. The important thing is that doesn't matter which mode you will set. The tamper activation message is going immediately to the controller after it's triggered. So it doesn't matter that it's eco mode, standard mode, test transmission, 12 or 36 seconds. If someone will open the detector, tamper is going immediately. And using the eco mode in some configuration, the battery lifetime is even up to 8 years. Now it's time for a short summary of the knowledge which I tried to share with you. So in ABAX 2 we have two controllers, ACU220 and ACU280. Both of them are compatible with Integra, Integra Plus, and Versa panel. ACU220, thanks to the additional inputs and outputs on board, is compatible with any control panel, but also with any controller. So you can connect it to some garage gate controllers, to some PLC controllers, to third-party alarm, to another producer of the alarm system. Everywhere you want to use our wireless solution. ACU220 also can work as a standalone operation mode. So you can just, for example, add the key fobs and to control and outputs to make some action in your system, or for example to make some action for garage gate. ACU220 and also ACU280 has RS485 terminals on board. So if you will connect the RS485, you can use the Modbus protocol to make the communication between ACU and some other systems which are using Modbus. But the integration, if you want to use the integration is on your side. So at the manual of the controller, we share all of the commands which you have to send on Modbus, and thanks to that you can make your own integration with any system which you want. Here we have a little example of a standalone operation mode. So for example, you can use your key fob to control some garage gates, to control some lights, even the watering, some roller shutters, anything you want. But you can control not only from the key fob. You can connect the expander and connect just some wall switches. So the software for the programming of the ACU controller is ABAX 2 soft. You are using this software for sure every time when you want to make set the configuration as a standalone mode, or if you want to check more detailed information about the devices, like signal level of every device, the interferences on every channel, the batteries information, etc., etc. When you are using ABAX 2 together with Versa, Integra or Integra Plus panel, you can add the device, remove the device, and check some information of all of the device using the DLODEX software. So the software which you are using for programming the alarm panel. Few words about the compatibility the new ABAX 2 devices. So if you are using the new controller ACU220 or ACU280, it's compatible with only the new ABAX 2 devices. So all of the detectors and devices which you saw today during the presentation. If you have a system with an old ABAX, so the controller is ACU120 or ACU270, then of course it's working with the old devices, but also that controller can cooperate with the new ABAX2 devices. Of course, with the limited functionality and not all of the devices. So if you are using the new ABAX detector to the old controller, you cannot receive the temperature, you cannot change the firmware version. You are using the old encryption method, not the AES 128 bits. Also, the range is smaller because the old controller has smaller range, so you have to know about that. And right now, before we will end, I want to show you just one more movie with a short summary of today's presentation.
When we plan to install an alarm system, using the cabling is often impractical or extremely troublesome, so we would like to avoid it. Therefore, we need an alternative and reliable solution. If our current security measures have a weak point that will allow the intruder to enter the premises, we would rather enhance the existing protection quickly and reliably. In each case, the appropriate solution is a wireless system that will provide an efficient extension or an alternative to the traditional wired installation. ABAX2 is a high-performance two-way wireless system working with the Integra, Integra Plus, and Versa systems. It is compatible with any alarm control panel or may be used as a standalone system. ABAX2 uses a modern radio system operating on 4 channels in the 868 MHz frequency band. It provides effective, uninterrupted transmission of data, even in very unfavorable and difficult conditions, in the presence of other wireless systems or strong interfering signals. In the ABAX2 system, all antennas are designed individually for each device to fully match the parameters to their construction and eliminate any interference. ABAX2 has a range of up to 2 kilometers in the open area. It is almost twice the longest swimming pool, 2.5 times the height of Burj Khalifa skyscraper, 19 football fields, 4 lengths of the longest ship in history, and 13 of the currently fastest maglev trains. It also has advanced diagnostic capabilities, including radio signal test. Radio transmitted data are encrypted in the AES 192 standard. Uninterrupted communication and encrypted data transmission allow secure remote updating of the firmware of all wireless devices. The process runs in the background without disturbing the ongoing system operation. Moreover, implementation of new advanced energy management features prolongs operating time of the devices by several years without the battery replacement. The broad range of devices that can be used in the ABAX2 system comprises wireless PIR and dual-tech motion detectors, including curtain detectors for perimeter protection, as well as magnetic contact, glass break, smoke and heat detectors. We also have at your disposal a universal detector that can serve as a magnetic, vibrating, temperature, flooding, and reorientation detector. Finally, the system can include outdoor and indoor sirens, and when used together with the Integra and Versa series controls panels, also user-friendly LCD keypads. ABAX2 means more than just the alarm system. Thanks to wireless controllers, it allows remote control of devices connected to the electrical system, such as home automation. It definitely improves the comfort of everyday life and at the same time saves valuable energy, protects environment, and reduces bills. ABAX2 is an up-to-date solution that can be successfully used for effective implementation and expansion of even very complex alarm systems. In addition to the security function, it also offers control over many home automation devices. It will be invaluable wherever the use of cabling is either impractical or very difficult. ABAX2, wireless security and comfort.
Okay, guys, I hope that you are not sleeping and you have some questions which we can answer. If yes, just ask the question on chat, but I saw that my colleague Jacek is very brave and he is answering for all of the questions. Okay, the first question from Win. Can the wireless keyboard of the Versa work over the IRU, the repeater? No, the wireless keypads of Versa and Integra cannot work using the repeater. So the wireless keypad should be in the range of the ACU controller. Can the ASD-250 detector sounder be controlled by the system, for example, for alerting smoke alarms from other groups, etc., after a delay? No, the ASD-250 has the sounder on board, and thanks to that you can signalize an alarm from the detector, or you can transmit an alarm from one detector to another detector when they are cooperate with the ACU controller. But you cannot trigger a buzzer in the detector, for example, from Integra panel or from Versa panel, the same like you can control the siren. How fast is switching between channels, and does an alarm or trouble condition occur at this time? So the switching the channels between in the communication is almost immediately. So, for example, when the detector will send some violation using, let's say, channel number 2, the controller will answer for can answer for that using the another channel which has the less interferences in this time. And in the same time, if just controller change the channels, you don't have any information about that because it's switching channels very quickly. But if you don't have the information from the device for longer time, depends on the configuration, then you can get the trouble that there is no communication with the device. I'm going to show you how this communication on every channel is working. Day after tomorrow, we have another meeting, more practice meeting with the ABAX 2. And during that presentation, I will show you the software, and I will show you also the interferences on the channel and how devices are jumping between the channels. Can I use ACU 220 or ACU 280 with Integra 128 WRL and keep both ABAX and ABAX 2 controller on? Yes, you can, because ABAX, old ABAX and the new ABAX and the new controllers are not going to interference between them. So the old ABAX can work in the system, and if you want to improve your system to add the new devices, without any problem, you can connect the new controller and new devices to that. Do we have any other question? I saw some question from Eugen. What is the life expectation of the battery in normal use? It depends on the device, but one of our colleague in technical department, he set the curtain detector, outdoor curtain detector, as an active mode. So every violation was transmitted with 12 seconds as a test transmission, and the battery and the detector sent the information that there is a trouble with the battery after more than 1 year. So 1 year, all of the devices should work without battery changes. Okay, so I don't see any other question. So I think I hope that you like our presentation, that everything was fine, that you know something new about ABAX 2. As I told you before, day after tomorrow we have another meeting with the ABAX 2, so you can register for that, and then we'll do some more practice things with the ABAX 2. Okay, so from my side is everything. Please make a big applause for my colleague on chat, for Jacek. Thank you that you spend this time together with us, and see you next time.